Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Laura Johnson from Yellow Brick Physical Therapy in Boulder, Colorado. This video is about mastery and how it requires knowing where to focus. So if you're interested in improving in life, in movement, in your movement and athletic pursuits, or in the systems of the body, which is where I hang out most of the time in the clinic, then this video is for you. So let's dive in. First of all, what gets in the way of focusing or, mastering something? Well, first, it's this noise. Our world is so noisy, right? Not only with traffic outside and all the things going on, noise in general, it's also noisy in terms of all the forms of media that come at us all the time. So social media, other media, doesn't matter. We have so much of it, and it is a lot to consume. So we're mostly driven to pay attention to all these different things, to consume a lot of other information, and it's very noisy. And our mind actually works the same way. So the ego structure, which is a very natural, normal structure that we develop as humans, is very noisy also. It has this way of, flitting about and thinking and worrying and, switching and all this stuff. So all that noise internally adds to all that noise externally and creates this big noisy thing, right? So what we need to do what do we need to do to not combat, we're not fighting that, but to come inward and actually make some improvement is to know, well, one, to quiet that noise and to know, again, where to focus. There's this great book by Greg McKeown called Essentialism. It's one of my favorites. I could read this book every year. And in Essentialism, he has this great diagram with a circle, very simple diagram with a circle and a lot of little arrows around the edges. And this is what he says a non-essentialism does, has all these arrows going in all these different directions versus the circle with one bigger arrow going in one direction. So to be an essentialist, we want to go in that one main direction. And I personally think that ties to starting at the foundational levels, being an essentialist, starting at the foundation, knowing where to focus on those most important things, those most essential things, the most foundational things. And this, I was thinking this week about this, and I can't help but think about three big areas that do tie together. One is life, so our life direction and improvement and development, so where we're going in life. Movement and fitness and athletic pursuits, because that's something I do a lot of, and also, again, the health and those systems of the body. And in all three of those, we need to know where to focus, or it really helps to know where to focus, right? Otherwise, we can get scattered and all over the place. So let's start with life. So in life, right, that's a kind of bigger bubble. So we've got all this noise going on. How do we know what direction to take? How do we know where to go? In my experience, it takes getting quieter and really tuning in. So again, cutting out that noise, tuning into yourself, your body. The body's a great, presence machine. So if you tune into your body, you're going to tune into your higher self, and you're going to be able to listen more easily and more closely to that. And just like anything takes time and mastery, I've also been reading this great book, I just started this book by George Leonard called Mastery. And he says that anything takes, anything we start, any new skill we start, and we've got these little improvements, little peaks, and at some point we plateau. But when we plateau, that's where a lot of people, what he calls people who are more like dabblers or hackers, they're just looking for a quick fix, they'll fall off and they won't come back to it. But to achieve mastery, the people who are going to stick with it, they stick with it through the plateau, and then they, at some point, unexpectedly get a massive spike, a massive peak. And then they are at a new level entirely. So even in our, tuning in with ourselves, it takes time and practice to get better and better at that, to tune into your higher self rather than listening and being pulled around by all the noise. One great way to do that too is journaling and looking at, what is the most important thing. When I started doing that, I was like, how do I figure this out? And I think it is a work in progress. It's like, just keep keep asking, keep listening, and keep tuning into that part of you that can tell you the next step to take, that can keep telling you where to put your focus. And so in life, like, are you going in the direction that you really want to go and that you're meant for? And I think that's an important question to ask yourself, and often. Are you going in the direction you want to go? And if not, what do you need to do to begin to do that? So that's life. Let's see if I may have something else that comes to mind with that. And then there's movement, and there's movement, and that's a big thing. There's fitness, there's athletic pursuits, there's activity. It doesn't matter what level you're at. I think it's really important, because movement, we know how important and healthy it is for us. Exercise is so good for us, unless it's hurting us. And then we've got to solve that problem first. But I like to look at it in this way. Think of a pyramid or a triangle, and at the base of the triangle, we want to have general health. That's a foundation. So we want to have, vitals good, blood pressure and heart rate doing great, not have injuries or bleeding or wounds. Those are the things we'd have to focus on first if that's going on, or illnesses, disease. We've got to be healthy, have that basic general health. On top of that foundational level, the next one, in my opinion, is systems function. And I've created a pyramid. I'll have to link it at the bottom here and let you see that. So there's systems function, and by that I mean our body's systems, particularly when it comes to movement, mechanical systems, the neurological system, muscular and skeletal systems. Then above that is motor control. So that means our ability to move well neuromuscularly, move well, like balance and stability and some even complex things. Above that is where most people hang out, which is fitness. This includes cardiovascular or aerobic training, strength training, or flexibility training like yoga. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Jerry. Great to see you. And most people hang out in this fitness category. That's great. There's nothing wrong with any of these. They're all important areas. But sometimes they're still doing that, even if there's a problem down lower, in the lower categories of systems, of muscle or of bone or of nerve. So, and then above that, fitness is the top of the pyramid, which is skills. So more complex skills, like sports-specific skills. And when you've got all these foundations lower in the pyramid operating well, then you're going to be so much better able to handle those skills at the top. Now, there's some overlap with all of these, and there's some like I said, some overlap, and all of that in terms of that we do in those categories too. But it is it still makes sense, right? Like, if we focus at the more foundational places, it's going to make the other things work better. So why not focus on the thing that's going to change all the things? Now, sometimes the hard part is discovering what is the thing that changes all the things. And so we kind of have to, investigate that. When life is journaling, sometimes we need help with other specialists or movement or PTs, all that good stuff. So that's that movement pyramid. So knowing where to focus in that arena is really important. Again, most of us, just like our noisy culture, get pulled around trying to do all of it. And it's so overwhelming. I know, especially when I was a 250 marathoner, I was doing everything. It was like rolling, mashing, icing, heating, seeing all these different people, putting all this time, strengthening, yoga, cross training, pool running. I was just doing everything. And that's well and good if you can, but it's also a lot. So if we know where to focus in these categories of movement, we can turn up the burner in that area and turn down the burners in the other. As in, if you have an injury or a limitation or recovering from something, we want to turn up the things you do in that area and maybe dial it back on the other things. It's really relative to you. It doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means we've got to adjust our focus. Rather than having all those arrows going off in all these directions and short arrows, we want to have those big, long arrows in one main direction that keep us moving forward in the best way for you to get where you not just need to go, but where you can most live at your best, your highest purpose, your fullness, your whole capacity, not just in one area of life, but many. So there's life, there's movement, and which includes, right, your fitness, activity, your athletic pursuits. And then a level deeper than that is the systems of the body, which, like I said, is where I hang out most of the time in the clinic, and where I have loved to study and learn from my patients and continue to see what works and what doesn't. And so in the systems of the body, the same thing is true. I see a lot of practitioners and people get caught up in doing all the things, right? Let's throw everything but the kitchen sink at the person to try to get recovery happening. And it's like strengthen and massage and needle and ice and heat and stim and this thing and that thing and that thing and strengthen. And again, there's a place for all of these things, but what about focusing on the most important thing that can change all the things, the most essential? And I've been so fortunate enough to discover that the nervous system, the neurological system, is something that changes a lot of other systems. It's really cool. It's really amazing to be able to understand this and have someone who has just yesterday, what's a good example? Someone with Achilles problems. I don't have to work on her Achilles. I can work higher up the chain in the nerve connection piece of things. And the Achilles problem has been getting better and better without my needing to address the Achilles. Even in one session, her tenderness in the Achilles, when I give full pressure on that area, goes from having some tenderness at the beginning and at the end not. So that's just such great results, and such a good thing to see that when we focus on the most important area, the thing that can change all the things, we can make so much more progress. We can, escalate or elevate our situation, our health, our movement capacity, our life in general. And so this ability to have, for example, nerves, muscles, and bones, joints working really well, our posture really good, that can impact our ability to move well. And a lot of these systems along that triangle, that pyramid of movement, which I'll link below, and if you don't see it, remind me, comment in there, and that can impact life, right? Because our bodies are a vessel, so we want to be healthy and able to move and be active and be healthy for a long time, long term. There's longevity that we're going for, right? And this is where mastery comes in. So mastery is that same concept of things that are important, take time. Getting better and better at things isn't like a quick fix, do it one time thing. If we fall off when we plateau at something, then we're going to miss the opportunity to get better and better and better through practice, through discovery, through the discomfort of wrestling. For me lately, it's in business sorts of things. I'm always kind of wrestling with new stuff I haven't done before. It's a love-hate relationship because I have to feel not good at things and keep putting myself out there in new ways and learning new skills and stuff I certainly didn't learn in my many years of higher education. But I could see where if I, just tried it and stopped, I'm not going to get as far, right? It's that consistency. Just like with running training, my runners out there will get this, or anything, but running is a good example. So you put in the day-to-day miles and you read your body and it shifts, but it's that long term over weeks, over months, over years, that is really where the payoff is, where things become automatic. And so when you're new at something, you're wrestling and you're struggling and it's uncomfortable and you don't feel good at it and everyone's going to notice. There's just all this stuff and then we have to stick with it and we have to be consistent. And then at some point we look back and we go, oh, wow, it's, I'm not having to think about it as much anymore. Or the same thing happens with my patients. So they're like doing the simple things, have them do. And we're working on the neuromusculoskeletal systems in the clinic. And, it's like, oh, things hurt and it's not quite linear all the time. But then sometimes we get these breakthroughs of, oh my gosh, my pain is better and it lasted longer and that sort of thing. So we're making progress. Same is true in, the greater movement structures. We can make improvements and focus on those foundational things like nutrition, right? We focus on nutrition and it makes general health more improved, or sleep is a good part of that, and it helps your body heal. It helps your which then in turn helps your motor control, which then in turn helps your repetitive motions of aerobic exercise, strength training, aerobic training, strength training, flexibility training. So head in that fitness category, which can then enhance your ability to develop sport specific skills. So mastery, essentialism, knowing where to focus, focusing on those foundational, those essential things. What is the thing that can change all the other things? That's what I keep asking myself in the areas I've been working on. And that's what I love helping people with in the clinic, because it has such a big payoff. If we take some sticking with it, for sure, but it has that long-term payoff, because not only do we make improvements over time or in that particular area, but we're learning and integrating lots of different things, because the body is complex and so is the mind, and we're putting it all together. PT is complex. It's like when we can't just put one, can't say this one exercise is going to help all everything, for example. But when we commit to the process and do it for the sake of the thing, of the process, gosh, the gains are endless. We become masters in places we might not have expected, and in ways that are unexpected too. So focus on tuning out that noise, tuning into your knowing, the higher self, tuning into your body, which means your higher self. What does it need? Where is it taking you? And let me know what questions you have. Drop me a comment below. I'll put some links in there. Feel free to sign up for my Heal, Listen, Learn newsletter, where I give 3 health and healing ideas from me, 2 quotes from other people, and 1 question for you to ponder each week, dropping on Fridays currently. So I'd love to have you join and keep getting some awesome ideas, and comment. Let me know what you think and what ideas you have. I love learning from you too. So take care and have a great day. Bye.